All right, guys, here we go. This is KIN114, and we are in the start of module number 2. And you'll notice with the different modules, as we switch from one to the other, I go from red to orange to yellow to green. And I just do that to help you stay organized in the process of the class. Maybe it's something you can apply to your own studies going forward, and you can use that to break out different things for your own classes, like in English or math or whatever it may be. So you have a article you have to review, and you have 2 check for learnings based off of that article, multiple choice, 10 questions apiece, and you have 2 of them. Post and response, remember you have to post and respond to get the full 5 points. Some of you have been somewhat lacking on your responses. 2-word answers are pretty weak. For example, with the classes I take, I have to do 500 words. And I have to do 500 words, plus I have to have 2 sources cited and speak to those sources cited in my post and response. It's a lot, admittedly. You're in a little different place. Where I'm going with this is I'd like to see, 2 sentences perhaps, 25, 30 words. It's not that hard, guys. You can bang that out without a problem. So I'll be grading those a little more aggressively, if I can say it like that, going forward. Give me a 2-word response, I'll give you a 1-point grade. Beyond that, don't forget your team builder workouts, numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. Some of you have been lacking in, well, quite frankly, all of these areas, whether it's post and response or check for learning or team builder, or frankly, all 3. So, it really brings me down to this post that I had earlier. And you got to look at this, guys, and go, all right, if you're here, part of your requirement is, yes, you're here to play a sport. Yes, you're here to take classes. Perhaps you're here to figure some stuff out as well, like what you want to do career-wise for the rest of your life. And even with that, it doesn't have to be the rest of your life. But you got to make good on the obligation on the academic side of the house. And, an ineligible athlete is no athlete at all. You can't pass your classes or don't make the effort to pass your classes. You're not going to be playing any sports. And matter of fact, you'll probably find yourself home working some rando job at this point, wondering how you were ushered out of Harper so quickly. So these are little takeaways that I've provided for you guys to be able to maybe implement into your lives at this point to be better student athletes. And that requires some dedication, a little bit of work, etc., because that's part of the equation. You have 2 types of equity that you need to get into college, one of which is you got to pay for it, so you got to have the financial equity to pay for it. And you also have to have the academic equity, right? So you have to be able to have the grades to be able to get into school. Now, I'll tell you this, that academic equity sometimes parlays itself into financial, because you might end up earning an A for this class because you took care of a couple of your outstanding assignments, or you get a B in an English class, and that brings your GPA up to a 3.25, and the cutoff for a scholarship is 3.25. So quite literally, some of these points, as you work towards your grades, it's like breaking up little nickels and dimes and quarters. Every point matters, because it might end up earning you a scholarship, perhaps a scholarship worth several thousands of dollars. So guys, make it a point to stay on top of your academics, because you need to have good academics to remain eligible. You need good academics to be able to transfer out to your next school. And you need good academics to be able to perhaps earn a scholarship of some variety outside of just your athletics, maybe an academic scholarship. And this is the other part of it, right? So really what I'm asking you to do is take a hard look at where you are right now and evaluate where you wish to be. I want to play basketball at Northern Illinois University. I want to play basketball at University of Tennessee. I want to wrestle at University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, wherever it may be. You have your target on where you want to be, and you have to put in the effort and have a desire to work at that level or beyond to be able to get there. If you continue to work at a high school level where you're indifferent about your grades or indifferent about attending class, guys, you're not going to get to your next step. You're just going to basically regress right back to where you were. So you always need to have like a marching forward, falling forward, moving forward. You get my point? You got to be going forward type of mindset. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. So start being more forward visioned and forward acting in your classes as well as what you do in class here. And that brings me to another point, and my final point. Every single one of us on campus, I don't care if it's your English professor who perhaps took a sabbatical to wander around to the pubs in Europe where his favorite author did the same. I had a professor who did that. I had a poli-sci instructor who, for his doctoral, lived in the Washington, D.C. underground to document the underground economy that's in that environment. These are people who are incredibly passionate about their area, whether it's English, poli-sci, or in my case, kinesiology. And we all come with a mountain of information, a mountain of education, and the ability to take that information and transfer it into a classroom environment. Now, here's the thing. If you are in a class and something finds its way into your class, you better believe that that instructor believes it to be important. And they've deemed it to be important because they found room in their schedule and in their syllabus to teach it to you because they really want you to learn it. That's, quite frankly, no shiny stuff to distract you. That's exactly how I'm teaching this class, because there are things I want you to learn because I know they're going to benefit you when you go to your next stop. And these are things that I have developed over, I learned them in the college environment a couple decades ago at University of Arizona, Whitewater, Austin Peay, when I was coaching. And I've used them for several decades over the years. And believe me when I'm telling you that these are things that are important and these are things that will benefit you in your particular sport. So you have to be able to look at this and go, all right, whether it's Coach Adrian or my English professor or my poli-sci, when they put it in a class, these are things that are important to that instructor, and I need to deliver on those things and deliver right back to the instructor and say, I also really love poli-sci or this area, or at least be able to have a comment, a logical comment or thought when you're writing your paper, or be able to have the ability to say, yes, I hear you, instructor. Here's what I heard. Here's how I interpreted, and I appreciated what you delivered in class. Here's what I think about it. Because, guys, for many of us, we've spent a lifetime developing the content that we deliver in these courses. And believe me when I tell you, if it's in a course, we believe it to be important. If I'm talking to you about speed, agility, quickness, and heel recovery, power production, power yield, these are things that I deem to be important. And also, they are things that I know are going to benefit you in your game environment. So get to class. That'll make sure you pass. When you're there, be engaged, be involved, learn as much as possible, and get as much out of the classroom environment as possible. Go back to any of your professors, try to make up classes, try to make up, assignments, and be able to get as many points as possible, because you just never know. Those academic points might end up being equitable. They might have actual financial value somewhere down the road. So make sure you're on top of your academics. All right, guys, I'm off my soapbox here. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys today. We got a couple great workouts coming up.